Hello, geometry students. We're dealing with chapter 3 now. It deals with lines and angles, and number operations and equality is what the first lesson's about. So, are you able to match these up? Just see if you can match them up before you take a look at the book. I think you'll be able to get most of them, some by process of elimination, because you haven't used them before, never heard of them probably. But match the definition from the bottom of the page to the word or phrase numbered 1 through 6. Okay, so these are properties of equality. Alright, so the substitution property is the first one. If you look at your definitions, well, it's kind of a dead giveaway in C. It even uses that word. You're going to use substitution a lot in the rest of the course, so you got to know this. If A equals B, then A can be substituted for B in any expression. So that's C. So Abe Lincoln in the movie was talking about this principle of Euclid's, the movie that was out last year about President Lincoln, where he said two things equal to the same thing are equal to each other. And we use that fact for the substitution property. We're going to use it a lot when we get into the proofs and for other things as well. So make sure you take that one to heart. Subtraction property of equality. Notice how 4 of these start out with if A equals B, and then they in their conditional statements too, aren't they? Right? So then they're doing something to A and B. They're doing the same thing to A and B. So we're looking for the one where they're doing the subtraction for A and B both. Okay, so they're subtracting an equal amount from both A and B right here. So the subtraction property is E. If A equals B, then A minus C equals B minus C. And you've been using that property for years. It's the subtraction property of equality. Reflexive property is another one that you'll be using a lot. It says that something is equal to itself. So which one of these would that be? That would be D as in Dusseldorf. Reflexive property. You use that a lot in proofs. You'll see it come up a lot. So take that one to heart and make sure you know what the reflexive property is, that something is equal to itself. The division property. So we've used C, E, and D, and now we have the division property. So which one of these involves dividing? You can see that it's F. And then the multiplication property. There are only 2 left, A and B. Which one involves multiplication? So here you have if A equals B, then if I multiply both A and B by C, I will again have an equality. Finally, the only one left is the addition property, so that's got to be B. And that's where we're adding C to both sides. Alright, that's the number operations and equality video. Oh, one other thing I should mention about this. You know the word postulate, and I believe this is the lesson where they introduce another word that means about the same thing, and that's an axiom. So if you see that phrase axiom, just remember it's like our postulates. Alright? I think that'll do for 3-1. And when you get to the homework and they ask you which property is being used, the key is to look for how the equation changed, and that's the most important thing. You got to look for how the equation changed. So they say if this, then y is this way. That's what you have to look for. How did it change after the then? What was different about it? Okay, and that's how you decide which property was. Did they subtract to get what they have right there, or did they multiply, or did they make a substitution? That's how you make those decisions when you get to the homework problems. All right. You have a geometric night, and I'll talk to you later.